Okay, we are back from ApollyCon. We are just dead on our feet. But before we forget everything, perimenopausal brain, we wanted to do a quick recap with some tips and tricks and advice from first-time ApollyCon goers.
It was definitely our first fucking rodeo.
We took notes, copious notes. We were Primal Group B. We got them off of the wait list from Tixel. We lucked out.
And Primal means like the VIP. That's the highest tier.
Okay, so first piece of advice. Carts are essential. The carts that we got were just the cheapest ones off of Amazon, like $30.
I think so, 30, 35 bucks.
And they had the hard lid on top so you could sit on them when you were waiting in line.
Yes, there was a gal behind me in one of the lines and she was like, my mom talked me out of it last minute. Worst mistake of my life.
I think we were able to fit, God, probably like $30.
That would have been my guess, is 30 bucks in our cart. Then we bought these two, which these were like a game changer. This part slips over the handle. So we had our waters, like our coffees. We put a bunch of snacks in here and like our wallets and chapstick.
When you're waiting in lines, that's when everybody is doing a lot of your trades. We brought a ton of stickers to trade.
And bookmarks.
That is a really fun way to meet people. So a lot of people had stickers, bookmarks, bracelets, Taylor Swift style.
Little 3D printed dragons.
Gum and snacks and like candy.
Dry patches. It is a really fun thing to do.
The biggest piece of advice that we got was that you have to line up for everything that you really want to go to an hour before.
At least.
So like the Rebecca Yaros and Stasia Stark panel, it started at 9. We skipped the first panel so that we could go get in line. Thank God we did because we barely made it in.
Standing room only. And I think we got there like 45 or 50 minutes early.
Yeah.
And we had to stand. We almost didn't we were in the gray area when we got in line.
Every single thing that you do at ApollyCon, there's a line for it. And then a lot of times a pre-line for the line. So let's talk about signing days. We were Primal Group B. So see how there's a little star in the top corner? That's how they could tell whether you were A or B. Friday was the Primal only signing. And that was from 1 to 6. They technically won't let you line up until noon, the hour before. So what everybody does is they get in like a pre-line. Then when they open up the line, then you go get in the real line. And the pre-line situation was a shit show, let's be honest. Everybody just swarmed. We've heard reports that there were people like pushing in some of the lines. And they were like,
we didn't see very much of that. We honestly didn't.
But we also aren't crazy. And we were just like, we'll be in the back. I'm not going to push and elbow my way up to the front of the set. So there's upstairs, which is the ballroom, Maryland Ballroom. And then downstairs was Exhibit Hall A. On Primal Signing Day, they let you go back and forth. You have to start in one room.
You are forced to start wherever you're A or B Primal, but then you can go back and forth anywhere.
They have a list of all the ticketed authors, which means all the biggest name authors, you have to get a wristband. When you open up the room, you just literally run around to the booths. You get all the ticketed authors in that room, and then you go to the other room and get all the ticketed authors in that room.
So like, for example, like Marissa Rorich, she was not like a big four, but she's a huge name. Stasia Stark's another example. So their lines just can't be open because their lines would be super long. So they have a volunteer at each of those booths. They give you a wristband. The wristband has a number on it.
This was Penn Cole's. You can kind of see they cross it out once you use it. So this one said 111. They have over the loudspeaker and they have like a board. Oh, okay. Penn Cole is now seeing 1 through 50.
It's all just for line control. Once they hit your number, you can go back anytime you want.
So it's not like, oh, they called my number group, I have to run over there. You don't have to run over there. So the big four, you don't have to go to those tables to get wristbands because you're supposed to get them at registration check-in. And that was JLA, Rebecca Yaros, Bryn Weaver, and JR Ward. We knocked out 98% of the authors we wanted to see on Friday.
We got in the pre-line at 11, got in the real line at 12. We went into our Primal B, Maryland Ballroom, right at 1, grabbed all of our ticketed author wristbands, ran right downstairs to Exhibit Hall A, got all of our ticketed author wristbands, and then we started just going like, what lines are open for our wristbands? And we just kept bouncing and we get in the lines back and forth.
And we laminated the maps for both the ballroom and the exhibit hall, and that was actually key.
Super helpful.
Because then we could use a dry erase marker and like mark off where they are in the map, and like we could make a game plan.
We did. We used the shit out of those maps.
Also, another tip, you don't need markers. We thought we'd give them markers to sign. So you can have 3 things signed. We mostly did 2 books and the poster for each of the authors. But you don't need to bring markers. They all have their own markers, which makes sense. They probably don't want to be touching your shit, you know.
They don't want to be touching everybody's shit. And it's to be swapping markers. Like they're literally like holding their marker, signing. Like it's literally like a production assembly line. They have assistants opening books, marking books, writing personalizations, passing it on. They're getting through
it is
500 to 700 people in 5 to 6 hours. Like they're not swapping markers. Don't even fucking bother.
They'll pose for pictures with you. Most of the time, they just like have a chair next to the author and you just like sit in the chair next to them and they snap a quick picture. The assistants will take the picture for you and then you're out of the way. They're very friendly. All the authors were so amazing and so fast. The Barnes & Noble pop-up, the first and second days, we saw those lines and they were absolutely insane. However, we went on day 3. We skipped the very last panel. We went and popped into the pop-up. There was no line and we got right in. They still had tons and tons of books.
The Barnes & Noble line gets nuts, so you can also really take advantage of the pre-orders. And then you can pick the books up at the author table. Some of them are already pre-signed.
You have to pay attention because the pre-orders, they close the pre-orders probably a month or 6 weeks before.
Yeah, they did, because they have to get them all done and shipped out and like boxed up and stuff.
Circling back to signing day 2, which is open to Primal, Ascended, and Deity, that's the day that they make you stay in each room for 4 hours. We had to start in the Maryland Ballroom and we had to stay there for 4 hours. And then they have a 2-hour break for lunch, and then you can do the other exhibit hall for 4 hours. That's how it works on the Saturday. You can't like go back and forth between the rooms. Okay, another tip, you do not need to pay for bag check.
Surprise!
We paid for bag check for 2 bags for 2 days, and you don't have to pay for shit. So we found the bag check room and they were like, we don't care, give us your bags.
That was a waste of $60, maybe even more.
Also, they closed the bag check. So we got to the bag check at like
7:30. 7:15, 7:30.
And our bags were gone and the room was locked. We had to like go find the volunteers. They moved our stuff to the help desk. The event on Thursday night, it was Welcome to the Capitol. It said like costumes encouraged or something. So we got super dressed up. It's not a ball. It's not a party. I mean, it's kind of a party. They have like bars and people are like mingling, but it's another panel is what it is. It's like another Q&A interview with
It was a JLA panel. It was a JLA Q&A.
There is a FedEx station at the Gaylord. A lot of people shipped their books back. It's expensive for like a box that weighed 25 pounds and probably had like 25 books in it. It was like $130 to ship
Cross country.
I didn't end up doing it, but I priced it out and it was $130 to ship from Washington, D.C. to Idaho.
So let's talk about that really quick. You got a lot of questions about this. So she came with 3 suitcases, 1 big, 1 medium, and a carry-on. I think all but like 8 or 9 of your books, maybe 10, fit in your carry-on.
Delta will let you check a carry-on bag for free. They're all under 50 pounds. I weighed them all at the airport.
So you only ended up paying for 2 checked bags. How much did that cost you?
$80.
Versus 130. So you ended up saving some money. So that's how Jamie got literally like 35 books to and from. And she packed every book individually in a Ziploc bag. If you're flying home with all your signed books and then they're sitting your suitcase outside in the rain, everything will get destroyed, and that has happened to people, and it's devastating. So that's another hot tip.
Last thing was you still have to line up for registration on Wednesday night. We've both been to a lot of conferences and conventions in our lives, and we did not anticipate the chaos that was check-in registration. I highly recommend you get there at least an hour early because they did run out of wristbands for the auto wristbands for the big 4 authors. Yeah. It ended up working out, and they like tried to fix it as best as they could, but get there early so you can get those wristbands because they are not guaranteed, and we didn't know that.
Yeah, and I feel like the fine print hopefully will not be as fine in the future. Like we might even come in the night before, so we're like rested. Then we can like show up early.
Get there early, folks. That's the theme. Is get there early, get in line.
Get there early. Either that or like you don't care and you walk in late. On the Saturday Night Villains Ball, that was in the hall.
The hall ball.
Yeah, the hall ball. I think we got there 10:15. We walked right in and it was great. We didn't get the swag bag. Sure didn't get that.
But if you want the swag bags, which everybody does, then you have to get there early. Last thing is we should have packed more snacks on the Primal signing day. We did not have enough snacks, and you can't leave to go get food because you're scared you'll miss all these authors. It's a long freaking day.
We just like didn't realize
it would be 9 hours without going to get snacks. So bring more snacks because you won't want to leave.
You truly cannot.
We feel like we learned a lot, and we hopefully get to go back. And now that it won't be our first rodeo,
honestly, go to the help desk. We use the shit out of the help desk, and they are so informed. Like the volunteers are the best. They were so amazing and so helpful. And that help desk like gave us so many tips every 5 minutes we were there.
Every volunteer that we encountered was like a baby angel on this earth.
We were just like, thank you. Oh,
we literally hugged the one for the JLA line. Okay, thanks you guys.
Good luck.
May the odds be ever in your favor.